What up, y'all? Stu here with some news on my upcoming game I know everyone's talking about, On the Grid, and a story of how it almost ended up as an asset flip, and how it's looking now. So, a quick recap, I started working on this game last summer and made some progress pretty fast. I got a little too carried away with that progress and made a trailer super early in the development process. I posted my trailer to Reddit and I didn't get any traction, like no comments, likes, even views, which was weird. So I tried posting it again with some bait to get some reasoning. Why was it so bad? And boy, did I get lots of feedback. Honestly, I think most of it was pretty positive feedback, even though they seemed a little negative at the time. They were pretty much just telling me to keep fleshing out the game that I already had. Instead of doing that, and probably maybe being done with the game by now, instead I saw that I owned this modern RPG template from Unreal Marketplace, and I felt that it was going to make a technically better game if I were to just use that template and add some mechanics and things that I want and just fill out the template to be like the game that I want. Now, for those that aren't familiar with game development, this concept is called an asset flip, taking an existing template, existing art, and just slapping it together to make a quick game. Personally, I don't think asset flips are as bad as people say, depending on the situation. Like, yeah, if a AAA studio's doing it, that's pretty lazy, but when you're a solo developer, it's going to be hard to make any kind of game without either spending a ton of time, effort, skill, money, or just using assets. So, I was already using about a dozen assets for version 1 of my game. I was combining them together to make this unique experience, but this new template had about, 80% of what I was already doing, along with other mechanics and features in it. So I said, hey, let's give it a go. Like I said, I want to make the best looking and feeling game possible, and in my mind, this was going to give me a more professional finished product than if I just continued with the project I had made myself. So I started up version 2 of On the Grid. Well, long story short, the template didn't work nicely with any of the assets that I already had going in the original project, like base building, for example. So after a month or two of tinkering around with all of that, I basically realized I'm starting from scratch again. And I was still willing to live with this, as I still thought this was going to make a better looking game than what I could do for myself. Anyway, I continued working on version 2 of my game for about 6 months. Sadly, about as much time as I spent on the original version of the project, but I had way less progress to show for it. And more importantly, I was having way less fun making it. I didn't feel like I was creating, I felt like I was filling out forms. And it was at this point I thought to myself, hey, why don't we package this bad boy? Let's see if a demo works. Maybe if I can get some early feedback on that demo, it'll reinvigorate me to want to finish this project. Oh boy, was I mistaken. I found out that this game had been destroying my computer. I don't know how. I'm pretty technically savvy, and so I don't know if it was unoptimized or what's exactly different about that template, but I for sure have seen the correlation. It was eating up hundreds of gigs of my hard drive to the point where I had to reset my PC a few months back, and after trying to package it again, after the reset, I could see it doing it again, filling up my hard drive, crashing because apparently my PC doesn't have enough RAM or memory to even package it, so I never got a packaged version of version 2. I just kind of have to let this rot on my PC now. I don't want to think it was a waste of time. I'm doing the best I can to tell myself it was a learning experience, that I still spent time doing game development, learning how their things worked in their project, seeing new ways to handle game mechanics. But even with the feeling of it being a waste, giving up on version 2, I honestly felt a huge relief. A weight off of my shoulders when I realized that the project simply wouldn't work. I mean, I'm glad I didn't make an asset flip. It gave me the freedom to go back to the first version of my game without that gnawing feeling at the back of my head of, well, just use that other template. It's going to be easier. It'll be better. Now I know that that's not the case. It wasn't easier or better. So now I can just work on my game and have fun again. And that was the whole point originally, why I'm making this project at all. I had a ton of fun playing Rust a couple years ago, and I was trying to remake a single player version of it all on my own. Something to scratch that itch when I wanted to play. Along the way, I told myself I was going to follow the fun, as game developers like to say, and that was working really well for me. I was adding a lot of random mechanics, some personal goofiness during those early days. And I'm really excited to get back to that. I mean, that's what makes it my game, right? So, after playtesting version 1 of my game for even just a few minutes, I know that this is going to be something good. It's a ton of fun to play already, it has a ton of potential. I found myself playing with it for like 10 minutes just messing around. When version 2, I couldn't get myself to enjoy it for more than a minute or two at a time. It was only testing. So, I guess that's basically where I'm at. I have no tangible progress of the last 6 months since I'm trashing version 2 of the project. And I want to apologize to all the millions of fans that I know are waiting on this game's release. It's coming soon, I promise. I learned a lot though. I learned I'm definitely not a pro. I'm not the prolific solo developer of my dreams. Instead, I'm a hobby developer. I'm just having fun doing this in my spare time. I'm learning a lot. I'm making something fun to play that I can call my own. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed this update. Now that I'm back to my own version, having fun again, I do think I will have more updates on the game much more often, so stay tuned for all that. Last thing I want to mention is I've pretty much stopped using my Creative Media Studio account. I'm just going to share updates here. To stop putting extra pressure on myself having 2 accounts. So hope you enjoy, because more updates will come to this channel. Alright, thanks for listening. I hope to see you in the next one.